Howdy folks, I'm Brian and here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Screaming at My Sister and Telling Her That She's Not Actually Pregnant? I'm a 35-year-old female and I'm pregnant with my sister's a 30-year-old female's child. My sister has some fertility issues and is not able to have a safe pregnancy. I offered to carry the baby for her and her husband. I am now currently 6.5 months along and everything is going well. Once we found out I was pregnant, my sister made the decision to live like she herself is the one who's pregnant. I found it odd, but I didn't see an issue with it. I understood that she's going through an emotional time. I mainly thought this was just going to be something between her and her husband. I was wrong, and she begun to act pregnant in her daily life. At first, it was just small things like having her husband run out and get food she was craving, but it developed into things like wearing maternity wear. She also gets annoyed if I talk about my cravings or pregnancy symptoms around her. These things don't bother me much, and I just think my sister wants to feel involved. Today, my sister wanted to go shopping to look at baby things since the stores have reopened in our area. The day started with her getting angry whenever sales staff would talk to me. I would explain to the salespeople that my sister is the mother whenever was needed. After a few stores, we arrived at the baby retailer where she wanted to make a baby registry. By this point, I was extremely tired and wanted to go home. I had told my sister this, and she promised this would be the last store. I must have looked exhausted. As we were waiting, the salesperson brought over a chair for me to sit while the registry paperwork was being done. When she brought it over, she did say something like, "Here's a child for mom." I didn't correct the salesperson this time and just sat down. My sister told me to get up and give her the chair after I had sat down. I asked her why, and I tried to explain that I was tired. My sister berated me, saying the salesperson said the chair was for the mom and that she was supposed to sit. She said that this was her registry appointment, and how dare I act like this was all about me. She said she was the one who was the expectant mother and that she needed to sit down. I told my sister yes, that she is going to be the mother, but I'm the one who's currently pregnant. I snapped at her that she's not actually pregnant, and she does not know how exhausting it can be. I told her I'm trying my best to appease her, but she is being ridiculous. My sister began to cry, saying that I was shaming her for not being able to get pregnant and that I was making fun of her. I tried to defend myself and tell her that's not what I meant. She wouldn't listen and ran out of the store. Everyone in the store was staring at us. They were looking at me like I was a complete monster after hearing what my sister said. My mother said I should have just let my sister have the seat. I know this whole thing must seem so small and stupid because it's about a chair. I don't know if I'm the jerk in this situation or not. Alright, OP, I'm going to have to say that you're not the jerk here. It seems like your sister is suffering from some pretty severe, jealousy issues with the whole pregnancy thing. And this seems like a bit of an unhealthy obsession that she has with trying to act out this pregnancy. And I don't know, I think like you were at your wit's end here, and I can understand why you would be upset with her and want to say, look, just let me have the chair, I'm the one who's tired. You're tired because she's dragging you around all day to go to these different places, even though you're the pregnant one. She could have even probably gone to these places on her own, but she chose to bring you along because, I don't actually know. I mean, maybe she wants your opinion on things, but it sounds more like she's dragging you along because she wants to be close to the baby. So, I don't know. I think that there's a bit of some unhealthy obsession here, and I think that I think you two need to sit down and kind of talk through this stuff and work out what the expectations for the remainder of the pregnancy are going to be here. Because it seems like this is just going to get worse from here. So, yeah. Also explain that things like stress aren't really good for, babies or pregnancy, and that she could even be, endangering the pregnancy by stressing you out. So, I mean, I think that I don't know that that's a stretch, and I think that she probably shouldn't stress you out. Or force you to stand all day, which, if you need a chair, because that's probably not going to be very good on you or if you're exhausted. Not the jerk at all, but it sounds like your sister may need therapy. I agree. I'm sure at some point she will be cutting you out of the baby's life. She will see you as competition and worry that the child will love you more. She won't ever be able to let it go and may even be terrible to the child if they remind her of you. Please ensure that you have a chat with her husband and your parents prior to handing the baby over. She may suffer from her own version of postpartum when the baby gets here and she faces the enormity of it all. And OP says, I've been encouraging her to see someone, but she won't agree. She thinks that what she is doing is normal. Yeah, this is a tough situation. She may end up needing an intervention. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Letting My Girlfriend Wear Clothes That Belong to My Ex? I'm a 26-year-old male and I dated my ex for 5 years. She broke up with me last year. The breakup destroyed me. I'm still trying to recover from it. She used to live with me. She still has some things here that she never got rid of. For example, she left a box of jewelry, mostly containing things that I bought for her. The really nice jewelry, like from Cartier and stuff. She also left behind a bunch of clothes. I started dating my current girlfriend 7 months ago. She recently moved in with me. Yesterday, she found a box of clothes that belonged to my ex, which I stored in my closet. I caught her trying on a dress. I asked her what she was doing. She said she found this box of clothes and asked who it belonged to. I said it belonged to my ex and her face fell. I told her she shouldn't be snooping around in my things and she shouldn't try on clothes that don't belong to her. She got upset and said she was trying on the dress because she thought it was really pretty. I told her to please change out of it because it evoked too many painful memories for me. The dress was a favorite of my ex's. My girlfriend accused me of being a jerk. I think my criticism of her was well deserved. Who tries on stuff that doesn't belong to them? Am I the jerk here? Tropey, I mean, I think you have to kind of see things from your girlfriend's perspective here. She finds a box of clothes. She may have even assumed that they were going to be a present for her, which, I mean, maybe that was a bad idea to kind of snoop around in your stuff, but I think the larger issue here is that it seems like you probably aren't over your ex. Why do you have a favorite dress of your ex's still? Why do you have jewelry of hers? I mean, it sounds like the jewelry, for instance, was stuff that you bought for her, and maybe she just didn't feel right keeping it, and so that's why she left it here. But the favorite dress, that seems a little questionable. Like, why would she leave a favorite dress of hers unless it was one you bought for her? So, I don't know, maybe this sounds like you have a lot of baggage and you have a lot of things to get over. And, like, I don't know. That's really what this seems like to me. I think you should have gotten rid of this stuff if it means that you're going to get upset if people discover it. And, I mean, she lives in your house too, so it's not necessarily snooping. It's not like she was going out of her way probably to, like, dig up stuff from your past here. She probably just saw a box in the closet and was like, oh, a box. And then she opens it up and it's like, oh, a box with a dress. You know, I doubt seriously she had any, like, intention of snooping, and you're treating it like that she isn't a person who's living in the household with you. So I really think that's where you've gone wrong here. This is, very gently, I think in a lot of ways, it just seems like you have a lot of things to get over, and I think you need to take your time and sit down and talk things over with your girlfriend, explain why you're still keeping this stuff. Try to articulate it and, try to understand what your feelings are here. Because it sounds like you may not even be sure right now why you're keeping this stuff or what kind of emotional attachment you have to it. That would be my advice. Anyhow, take care and good luck. You're the jerk. If you're not over your ex, it's too early to be dating another girl. She deserves your full love and attention, and I totally understand her being upset that you keep a box of her clothes in your closet. Can I point out that his ex left her favorite piece of Cartier jewelry and her favorite clothing at his place and never reclaimed it? Me thinks she left in a hurry for a reason. I think that may be a bit of a reach here. Again, he makes it sound like this stuff might be stuff he bought, and so she may just not have felt right about keeping it. And he may be exaggerating it about it being one of his ex's favorite dresses. It may be one of his favorite dresses that his ex wore. That would be my guess. Why did you ask your girlfriend to move in with you if you're still hung up on your ex? Unfair and cruel. Why are you hanging onto this box of her stuff? Why on earth do you still have it? You're the jerk. All right. Our last letter is titled, Am I a jerk for making my boyfriend hold our baby without question? Sorry for the format on mobile. We, a 24-year-old female and a 32-year-old male, were in the kitchen. He was leaning up against the counter, just chatting. I was holding the baby. I held her out for him to take so I could pull up my pants, but I didn't mention it. He didn't take her right away and said, why? He does this quite often. Usually we can joke it off, but I'm getting sick of trying to jostle with him just to hold her. So this time, it just made me angry, and I said it's his daughter too. I snapped and yelled, just take her, which he did. Once I had pulled up my leggings, he said I could have just said I needed to adjust, but my argument was that I shouldn't need to give him a reason to hold his own baby daughter. I took her back immediately once I was done, and he said he doesn't want to be around me as I make him feel like garbage. And now he's been sulking in his man cave for an hour. So am I the jerk? Edit, he's now been down there for almost 3 hours. Edit, thank you everyone for your responses. I wasn't expecting this to gain that much traction. It appears that we definitely need to work on our communications and discussing our responsibilities, regardless of who is at fault. Thank you again for all of your responses and advice. Yeah, that's actually where I was going to go with this one here. It sounds like you two have some serious communication issues. You probably had issues before you had a baby, and now you have deeper communication issues. Instead of just being like, hey, can you hold the baby for a second? You tried to just hold out the baby and be like, take it. Like, it sounds like there's just communication issues all around. And, that's just really what this reeks of. I think you two are now adults. You have a child. You need to work on communicating with each other. You need to work on how you're going to deal with situations like this. You two are a team, and you need to start treating each other like teammates and not like one person who's in your way or not helping you or something like that. So that just really was what this situation seems like. He shouldn't be down there sulking in his man cave. You two should be having a heart-to-heart, trying to figure out how to best handle these kinds of situations in the future. Otherwise, things aren't going to work between you two. Anyhow, take care and good luck. I remember this stage well. It's the stage when I divorced the overgrown child. No regrets. Not the jerk, his attitude and behavior falls short of what is expected of a partner and a parent. I suspect there's more going on between them than just this. Is he not pulling his weight in childcare and household work? Does he need constant reminders to even do the most basic and obvious stuff, and still drag his feet on doing them? Think of the stuff in the story, my wife divorced me because I sometimes left dishes by the sink. Or is OP not getting any sleep and therefore exhausted? Having said all that, none of this is mentioned here. Why was OP so short with her partner? I would never dream of simply holding a child out to someone and stay silent without a courteous, could you please hold her for a second? It's so easy and simple to use words to communicate intentions. It's a common courtesy. Obviously, she didn't need to give a reason to beg for help, but just holding out the child was rude and unnecessary. In my opinion, OP is not blame-free here. The partner is obviously the bigger of the jerks because what if OP suddenly was dizzy or unwell? Just take the kid, then later talk about how you'd like to be treated. So that's an everyone's a jerk for me. I think I made my point well, but seeing how the judgment had gone so far, I'm ready for my downvotes now. So yeah, I'm actually more of an agreement with this poster here, because to me it seems like you should at least, say something to the effect of, oh, can you hold the baby for a second? But also, like, if she wasn't feeling well or did have suddenly a dizzy spell, like, it may not have been able to communicate effectively, he needed to be able to just take the kid and instead of being like, why do you want me to hold the kid? But yeah, like I said before, I think they just have some serious communication issues, and things are only going to get worse if they don't sit down and talk about things. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.